Well, Mary, I guess I'm gonna have to say something to you. I gotta ask you one question. Well, no, it's not a question. Actually, it's gonna be a statement. Why is it that every time you open your mouth, lies come out of it? Not lies, which I'm sure they're hanging around you too. I'm talking about lies that come out of your mouth. You have got to be the most incredible liar that I know in my 62 years I have ever come across. I'm amazed at the lies that come out of your mouth. Now, remember, I said lies, not flies. So don't grab a little fly swatter. No, you wouldn't buy a dollar fly swatter. If it would save your life, you wouldn't buy it. I'm going to tell you something again, and it's frustrating as hell to me, I want you to know, is you have nothing because you choose nothing. You are the only one that thinks that you can't, you don't think, you think you can't do nothing. Well, let me ask you something. You look awful plump to not know how to do something. So somehow you're feeding yourself with a spoon, that is, I hope. Now, granted, other people are buying the food, but you got to be feeding yourself. Let me tell you something else. You know, I've got 13 grandchildren, 5 children, 13 grandchildren. And every one of them, by first grade, knows how to run water in a bathtub and get their little dirty butt in it. And they do the best they can. And you know, until they learn to get the ears and the hair, you know, we help them out. I'm going to tell you something. You just so proud that you say you were such an awesome reader before you ever started school. Until you had, what'd you say, a seizure that put you in a coma? No, Mary, you did not. You're lying about that. Your sister had a seizure from a fever. And she's the one that, and she did, it damaged a part of her brain. But they said it wouldn't affect her too much. It was not you that had a seizure from a fever. And I mean, you may have had one, but it wasn't catastrophic like you were saying. In fact, a lot of children have them. You know, my son had them. Scariest thing I've ever been through. But he's fine. And I'm gonna tell you, you just won't quit. I haven't even. The only thing I have said is I see why you had that notebook because you have to keep track of the lies you tell. You know, I don't like to spend a lot of time with you because I am a very busy person. Do you understand? I stay busy because it heals my heart. It helps me. You know what? You sitting up there praying and hoping that just terrible things happen for me. Well, guess what? The most terrible thing in the world has already happened to me. You don't get it because you know why? Because you've never cared about anyone enough to even notice they're missing. You don't even notice people. The only thing you do care about is your weed, which sounds like you're whining. That's all you do care about. So you know what? I return the favor. I hope all your weed just dries up and you walk outside and it blows away. And it just craziest thing. The wind just picks it up, takes it away from you. You know, I am just so fed up with you. I mean, I'm like really at the last straw. And if you really need your therapist, you're lying about people threatening them. You're lying about that so bad. It's terrible to accuse people. It's terrible for you to sit around saying that I paid your sisters. Let me tell you what I do pay for, you little dumbass. I've paid for my sister to be buried this year. I have paid for her husband to be buried less than a year ago. And I'm going to tell you something else. I paid for a truck, a car, and a house. And I pay for everything you see around you. Everything in this house and everything in this yard I do myself. I'm going to tell you something else. You know what? Pride? I got pride, Mary. I don't have to go to no damn parade. My pride is in everything around me. It is my children and my grandchildren. My pride comes from, like, you know, Martha, my sister across the street. It shocked me, but do you know what? I am proud that she loved my daughter enough. You know, she left the house, and that to me is, I am proud. Do we need a parade? Hell no. But I'm proud that I raised children that others love as much as I do. And I'm proud that I had sisters and a family. And it didn't come easy. It never comes easy. Every one of us has got troubles. Every one of us has pain. Every one of us has been hurt in some way or another. You find me one person that has lived a perfect life, and I'll shut up forever. My, well, I'm not even going into anything else, but I'm going to tell you something. I don't need nobody to talk to. You know what I do for my therapy and for my sanity is I work in the garden. I build things. I'm working on shelves now. I go and cut it. I get a dead tree and drag it across the street because I gotta have something to do. And I made shelves out of it. That's what I do. I stay busy. And you're a lot younger than me, and I promise you one thing, I'm probably a hell of a lot more active. And I know I'm a better fit than you are. That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. And it was, you just, there is no end to you. And it will never end. And I know it. It's never going to end. You're just going to keep on. And you want to talk about dying? You know, that's the most disgusting, sickening thing I've ever heard in my life. You know what? There is some beautiful, wonderful souls. One of them that just recently left here. And I'm going to tell you something. They were a warrior. And you could have learned something. You know what? If you would have just shut your mouth and read your comments and took them to heart, I'm going to tell you something. Those people have tried to help you and guide you, but you slap everybody in the face. All you want is your marijuana. That's all you want. And the most beautiful soul, right up there with my daughter, was a true warrior. And even though I've never sat in front of her, she got in my heart. And she will always be there. And if I could have had her around when I was raising my girls, Lord, I'd have been so blessed for her to have been a guide for them, full of fire and just the love of life. My God, and you just waste it. And you talk about your brother. You didn't even care enough to know his full name. You didn't care. How old were you married? How old? And you're telling the world that you didn't have enough sense to turn on a spigot where it says C for cold and H for hot and get your stinking ass in it? That's what you're telling people. You're telling people one day, oh, I was a wonderful reader. And then the next day you're talking about stinking and having headlights till you were 18, Mary. Boys go to war and fight at 18. You you were out buying cigarettes, I'm sure, at 18. Ain't no telling what your ass is doing. But you're going to tell everybody that you didn't know how to turn on no water and take a bath. You don't know how to turn on the washing machine and wash your own damn clothes. I'm going to tell you something. That's not your mama's fault. Lord knows she probably should have snatched you up by your hair and drug you to that washing machine and said, here, let me show you one time. Because let me tell you something, that's what I did. I said, I'm going to show you one time. You're going to learn to do it yourself because you know what? Your mama ain't going to always be here. And you're going to have to do it yourself. And I'll tell you what else, I'm super proud of. Every one of them knows how to wash clothes. Every one of them are clean, and every one of them have a home. So don't worry. You go ahead and curse me all you want. Because I'm going to tell you something. I have been pretty low. I have stood in this yard, this very yard, and watched everything that I owned go up in smoke. And I'm going to tell you something. I knew we were going to be okay. With it or without it, Mary, we were okay. We were going to be fine. I know today I'll be fine. No matter what happens, I will be fine. Because I know how to build. I know how to pick myself up. And I don't give up. So keep that in mind. You want to keep coming at me? Remember, I will not ever give up. And to call me a liar? Prove me the liar. Prove me the liar. And I'm not talking about with your damn mouth that spews out lies and flies. I'm talking about prove it to me. Because I have proven almost everything that I have said about you. The things that I could not physically show, I believe that I have told enough truth that it's believed. You can't even say that, Mary. You can't even pick up a message, a paper, and do anything with it because you're too damn lazy. You are the way you are because you choose to be this way. You want to keep on being mental? Well, by God, be mental, but keep it to yourself. Get on there and beg for your money. You don't got to come up with all this other bullshit. So far, I've heard you say you've had autism, you're bipolar, you're schizophrenic, you're schizoaffective or something to that nature. What else are you? Got post-traumatic stress. You want to know what? Post-traumatic stress. Let me tell you what gets me, okay? Every night when I lay down and every day before I get busy, I see my husband giving my daughter CPR in the bedroom floor. If you don't think that gives you a little post-traumatic stress, why don't you get your marijuana and set it on fire without breathing in the smoke and see how you feel, because that's about the closest you'll ever get, because you don't care. You are soulless. You are a cruel, soulless bully that intimidates or tries to intimidate everyone around you. Well, guess what? When my mother died, that was up for me. The gig was up, hon. Okay, and it was for everybody else in the family, so you just take that to heart. Now, most of them are all gone, but I'm still here. And why am I still here? Well, guess what? I was the one that my mother had trained up for this very purpose, I'm sure. Because I always ask her, why were you so hard on me? Why did you do that? Why did you make me lie in my own messy bed? And you know what? One day she told me the truth. She said, because I knew that you were going to need to be strong one day. And you're a strong, strong woman. And I'm proud of that, Mary. So don't think for 1 minute I'm going anywhere. And don't think for 1 minute I'll acknowledge your lies, okay? And don't think that I would waste my money on covering anything up. God, I've got too much else to pay for. I've got a truck in the garage and a car on the road right now. You know, don't play with me, Mary, because I'm going to tell you something. My heart got broken a little more recently, and I'm really not in the mood for your stupidity, your ignorant stupidity, your lying, disgusting self. So get a grip on yourself. Do something. Go to work at McDonald's again and see if you can't handle saying, would you like fries with that? Any salt or ketchup today? By God, you ate enough of it. And let me tell you something else while I'm thinking about it. You know what? You on there talking about, oh, I eat pizza to punish myself and hope I die. Well, you know, is that what you were doing down in Fernandina? I bet you the Loop in Fernandina Beach, pizza. Really good pizza, too. Quite expensive. I bet if they kept receipts, your name and that condo number is probably in there more than you would care to admit, isn't that right? Because you loved that place. You loved going to McDonald's. And you loved the Loop. You remember that place, don't you? With all that gluten. Yes, ma'am, you sure did. Now tell me I'm lying, because I'll make another trip down there. Not a problem. And just for everyone else, because you don't hear me. You know, Mary, I went down there to pay my respects to my little sister. While I was there, my other sister was up here fighting. And I'm going to tell you something else. You think everything centers around you. Well, guess what? It don't. I had a whole lot going on down there, a lot of business. And I just did it all. Because I'm good at that. I can walk and chew gum, I can talk, and I can work on my projects. And you know what? I'm proud when I get done because even at my age, I can learn to do something. And it feels good. And everything I do, I put something on it. I leave a mark behind. What mark do you leave behind? What, like a pissing dog? Is that what you leave behind? You walk around pissing on everything because that's all you have done. You have pissed on every single one of us. So just take your old nasty self down to the library and get you one of them beginner readers and work on hot and cold water and see if you can't figure out how to take a bath.